Cultivating self-love is one of the most important things you can do in your life. I guarantee it will transform your life and you will be happier and more content. When you don't love yourself or even like yourself, you don't think you're worthy enough to be treated well. So you'll attract people that won't treat you that well. You won't treat yourself as well. You won't take care of yourself, like eating good and exercising and taking time and resting and nurturing yourself. You may be wonderful person, taking care of everybody else and helping all the time, but if you're not taking care of yourself, you have some serious issues of cultivating having self-love. Now, no criticism or judgment. Most everybody has this problem. We live in a world where we receive cultural messages that we're not good enough. So we'll buy things that make people billions of dollars, okay? Products, surgeries, all kinds of things, cars, whatever. We're always looking outside of ourselves to get something that's gonna make us look good enough. The big house, and then we're all stressed out and we're trying to look good on the outside, but we're totally unhappy on the inside, okay? If once you start to cultivate self-love, you will see that you start talking to yourself differently, you start treating yourself differently. Instead of constantly running and drinking coffee, you'll say, no, I need to rest and take care of myself, and you'll just naturally do it, okay? It's like, imagine when you go into a room and there's a person here that you think is absolutely wonderful and you love them, and then the other person, you don't like being around this person so much. They're negative and maybe you have some resentments or something around them. Who is gonna be easier to be nice to? The person that you love and adore, right? The person that you don't like so much, it's harder to be nicer to them. You have to make an extra effort. It's the same with you. When you don't love yourself enough, you're not gonna be as nice to yourself, right? We even have common phrases we use all the time. Everyone has their self-critic, or we're our own worst enemy. And this is just such a common thing we say all the time. There's some others I'm sure I can't remember right now, but we act like this is just a given, that we're all like this and we can't do anything about it and we're victims of this and that's just how it is. And it's not, all right? I remember years ago I had a conversation with somebody and I felt this not good enough, and I was always going to try to produce and think this was worthwhile if I was constantly productive. And I remember I said, I was talking to this person, I said, I just don't feel good enough. And they said, in what? And I said, in everything. And I just started crying. And that was the first time I really realized, oh my God, I live like this all the time. And I'm constantly do to try to feel better about myself. And so I had to learn. I had to do some healing, from trauma when I was a kid and stuff like that, emotional healing with meditation, and really started doing techniques, writing down affirmations, listening to the affirmations, talking to myself in the mirror, writing gratitude lists, just constantly saying good things to myself. And at first you feel it's weird, I'm being egotistical, or I'm arrogant, or I'm not being humble, or this kind of thing. Forget all that. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a person that you love. If you talk to yourself, if you talk to another person and treated another person like you treat yourself and like you talk to yourself, you would never want to be around that person a lot of times. I remember when I was really driven with workaholism years ago, and I was working inside my house, and my husband at the time, I would go into the office late, it's awful work hours, I shouldn't have been going in there. And when I come out, he would say, is that the boss getting hard on you, kind of getting down on you and making you work a lot? I was the boss, and he knew that. And it was really a great wake-up call for me, why am I doing this to myself when I would not put up with this from a boss? I would say, no, I'm off work. But I would do it to myself because I didn't have enough self-love. And when I started all these techniques and my self-love grew and grew, not only did I feel happier and I treated myself better and took care of myself better, but I enjoyed my time alone. I wasn't looking someone outside of me to have to make me happy in my life. I was happy with myself. And that was transformational for me in my life. It was absolutely fantastic. So I highly recommend try me. You can go on the internet, ask me questions or whatever, techniques of cultivating self-love. There's all kinds of meditations out there. I have one that I started with an app called Insight Timer that I have. It's called a selfie oxytocin. This is during the quarantine where I was not touching anybody, not seeing anybody, and I was touch starved. And so I started doing this, and this was in the process that I was doing all this emotional healing and cultivating self-love. And it's so miraculous. It works amazing. It's just a process, and you gotta stick to it and get past the uncomfortable part of maybe feeling silly when you first start doing it. But you start doing it on a regular basis, you're not gonna feel silly anymore, and you're gonna really love it.